Hey guys, in this lesson we would understand how to divide polynomials. Understanding the division of polynomials is an important step in solving polynomials. We would learn that in the later lessons. First, we would understand in this lesson how to divide the given polynomials. When it comes to dividing polynomials, there are two ways that we can use to divide polynomials. One is using long division and the second way is synthetic division. Long division is possible when the polynomials are of any types, whereas synthetic division is only possible if the divisor is linear. Now let's first understand what is meant by divisor and let's go over different terms that will be used when we will be dividing polynomials. Remember, whenever we divide two things, for example, if we have anything on the numerator and anything on the denominator and we have to divide it, so how we divide is we put the numerator inside the division bracket and denominator stays outside. This numerator that goes inside the division bracket is called the dividend. This denominator that divides the dividend is called the divisor. So when we say that in synthetic division, divisor has to be linear, that means this denominator that we are dividing the numerator with should be a degree 1 polynomial. Any other degree polynomial, if it's there, we cannot use synthetic division. Then we would be just left with the option of using long division. Now there are two more terms to remember. The answer that we write on top here is called the quotient, and the final result that we get after dividing the numerator with the denominator is called remainder. Remainder can be written as R, dividend can be written as uppercase D, divisor can be written as lowercase d, and quotient can be written as Q. There is a relationship between all these four variables, and the relationship is when we multiply the divisor with the quotient and add remainder to it, the result that we get is called dividend. This is a very important relationship. Now before dividing, we need to remember two important things. The first thing is whenever we are dividing two polynomials, the terms of the polynomials, when we say terms of the polynomials, that is a requirement for both the dividend polynomial as well as for divisor polynomial. So the terms of the dividend and divisor polynomial should be arranged in descending order of degree. Descending means highest to lowest degree or highest to lowest power. This step is important just to make our division easier. Second thing that we require to remember or to apply is 0 must be used as the coefficient of any missing powers of the variable in both the divisor and the dividend. Now the first thing to remember means that whenever we are given a polynomial, be it a dividend or a divisor polynomial, let's say we are given 3x squared plus 5 plus 6x cubed plus 2x. This means that this polynomial given to us is not ordered according to the requirement of division. So how do we order it is, we order it in descending order of the powers. We know 3 is the greatest power, so we would put 6x cubed first. Second we put is 3x squared. Next we put is 2x. And the last thing we put is 5. So we always have to make sure that the polynomial is arranged in this form. That is the descending order of the powers. Second requirement is 0 must be used as the coefficient of any missing powers. This means that if in case we are given a polynomial as 3x squared plus 5x cubed and we have to use this in division, then first we have to arrange it in the descending order. So 5x cubed would come first, then would come 3x squared, then we know x to the power of 1 is missing, so we would put a 0x, and x to the power of 0 is also missing, so we would put another 0 after that. So this will complete the polynomial. So whatever x powers are missing, we just put 0 as a coefficient for those x powers in order to complete the requirement of the second step. Both of these requirements will make our division easier. Now let's go over the steps of long or polynomial division. Let's say we have to divide x to the power 4 minus 16x cubed plus 4x squared plus 10x minus 11 with x plus 4. Now we would first have to see that both the requirements are met. This polynomial is also arranged in the descending order of the degrees. None of the terms are missing. Here power 4, power 3, power 2, power 1, power 0, everything is there. Power 1, power 0 for x is there. So none of the terms are missing. So both requirement 1 and requirement 2 is fulfilled. Now the thing that we have to divide is called the dividend. So that will go inside the division bracket. So we would put x to the power 4 minus 16x cubed plus 4x squared plus 10x minus 11 inside, and x plus 4 is going to be our divisor. That would stay outside. Now when we have to divide, we have to think what multiplied by x would give us an x to the power of 4, and that is x to the power of 3. X times x to the power of 3 gives us x to the power of 4. Because this x is not alone, so we have to also multiply x to the power of 3 with 4. Therefore we get 4x to the power of 3. We always have to put like terms under like terms. Now we have to subtract the new term from the original question term. So we would flip the signs. X to the power 4 minus x to the power 4 gets cancelled out. Minus 16 minus 4 gives us a minus 20x cubed. We would bring the next term down because whenever we do long division, we bring one term at a time down. Now what multiplied by x will give us a negative 20x cubed, and that is a negative 20x squared. When x multiplied by negative 20x squared gives us a negative 20x cubed, then 4 multiplied by negative 20x squared would give us a negative 80x squared. We have to subtract, so we flip the signs. We get negative 20 plus 20 gets cancelled out. Plus 4 plus 80 gives us an 84x squared. We bring the next term down, that is plus 10x. Now what multiplied by x will give us an 84x squared, and that is an 84x. X multiplied by 84x gives us an 84x squared. Then 4 multiplied by 84x would give us a 336x. When we subtract, signs get flipped. Here we get is negative 326x. Now we bring this negative 11 down. What multiplied by x will give us a negative 322x, and that is negative 326. When we multiply this, we get a negative 326x. When we multiply 4 with negative 326, we get a negative 1304. Because we have to subtract it again, signs would flip. This would give us 1293 as a remainder. We are not left with any more terms, so we are done with the division. This is what we get is called quotient. This is called divisor. This is called the dividend, and 1293 is called the remainder. We can do divisor multiplied by quotient plus remainder to see if we get this dividend or not. If we are able to get back this dividend, that means what we have done is all correct. Otherwise, that means we would have done some mistake on the way. So this formula can be used for checking the result as well. Let's check this one just for the sake of example. The divisor that we have is x plus 4. Quotient that we got is x cubed minus 20x squared plus 84x minus 326. The remainder that we have is 1293. Now we would apply the relationship d multiplied by q plus r to see if this result gives us the dividend. D is x plus 4 multiplied by x cubed minus 20x squared plus 84x minus 326 plus 1293. When we multiply, we do distributive property. So we get x to the power 4 minus 20x cubed when we multiply this plus 84x when we multiply this minus 326x. Then we multiply 4 with each of these terms. We get plus 4x cubed minus 80x squared. Then we get 336x. When we multiply 4 with minus 326, we get minus 1304. And here we have is plus 1293. Now all we have to do is just collect the like terms. X to the power 4 is by itself. Minus 20x cubed plus 4x cubed gives us a minus 16x cubed. Plus 84x squared minus 80x squared gives us a plus 4x squared. Minus 326x plus 326x would give us a plus 10x, and then minus 1304 plus 1293 would give us a negative 11. So finally we have got x to the power 4 minus 16x cubed plus 4x squared plus 10x minus 11, and that is the same value as we had in the dividend, x to the power 4 minus 16x cubed plus 4x squared plus 10x minus 11. So that means the division that we have done in this would be correct. Now let's see how to do the same division question using synthetic division. When we are doing synthetic division, we just need the coefficients from the dividend and we need the x value from the divisor. How do we get the x value from divisor is, we just put the divisor equal to 0 and solve for x. So x is negative 4. Here we do not have any coefficient, so we would put coefficient as 1. Now, in order to do synthetic division, we would make a line like this. We would put this number that we have got from divisor outside, and these coefficients we would put here in the descending order of their variable powers. 1 minus 16 plus 4 plus 10 minus 11. Now what we have to do is, the first step is we bring the first coefficient down under this line as is without doing anything to it. For the next step, we multiply this negative 4 with this number that we have got from the first coefficient. So this number, negative 4 times 1 is a negative 4. We put it here. Then we just add these two numbers. Negative 16, negative 4 is a negative 20. Then we multiply this negative 4 with this number. Negative 4 times negative 20 is a positive 80. We just have to add these two numbers. We get a 84. Then negative 4 times 84 is a negative 336. We add 10 and negative 336. We get a negative 326. Negative 4 multiplied by negative 326 would give us a positive 1304. We add these two numbers and we get a 1293 value. So basically what we have been doing is just repeating this step of bringing the number down, multiplying it with this number outside to get a value here, then adding the top and the new value to get a result there. Then again multiply this with a negative 4 to get a value equal to this, add it up to get the result here, multiply this with negative 4 again to get this value, add these two up to get the result here, multiply this by a negative 4 again to get a result here. When we add up, we'll get this number. Now how do we use these numbers to write down our answer? Because in the question, the maximum power of the variable was x to the power 4. This is the coefficient of x to the power 3. This is the coefficient of x to the power 2. This is the coefficient of x to the power 1. And this is the coefficient of x to the power 0. The result that we get is always one power less than the question power. So if this is x to the power 4, or here the degree is 4, the result will have a degree 3. So this would have x to the power 3, this would have x to the power 2 behind it, x to the power 1, x to the power 0. Now this has no x left at all. So the last number would always be called the remainder. Now the final answer can be written down as 1x cubed minus 20x squared plus 84x minus 326 is the quotient, and 1293 is the remainder. And this is how we divide using synthetic division. Now one last thing to remember in division is that whenever we get a remainder equal to 0, both the divisor and the quotient are called factors of dividend. Now you know from the lower grades that factor means the numbers that divide a given number completely. For example, if we need to know the factors of 6, we know 2 and 3 are the factors of 6, because when 6 is divided with 2, we get a remainder of 0. Similarly, when 6 is divided with 3, we would get a remainder of 0 again. So both 3 and 2 are called the factors of 6. And 3 and 2 are only called the factors of 6 if the remainder is 0, because it is not leaving us with any remainder. If in polynomials we have to determine whether a given divisor is a factor of a dividend or not. For example, the question is to determine whether x plus 2 is a factor of this, then what we have to do is we would divide this polynomial with this polynomial, and the process of division can include either long division or synthetic division, because the divisor is in this case a linear divisor with x to the power of 1. As synthetic division is easier, so we would proceed with synthetic division in this case. So the x value that we get here is -2. We put -2 here. We make sure this is arranged in descending order and all the terms are there. So we can write this as x to the power of 4. No coefficient means coefficient 1. This is done. Next is -2x to the power of 3. Next is we see x to the power of 2 is missing, so we put 0x to the power of 2. Next we have is a plus 13x. And the last we have is -6. Now we would be taking all of these coefficients to fill here the top numbers. 1, -2, 0, 13, -6. Now the first number would come down as is. -2 multiplied by 1 is a -2. We add these two up, we get a -4. -2 multiplied by -4 is a 8. We add these two up, 0 plus 8 is an 8. -2 times 8 gives us a -16. When we add 13 and -16, we get a -3. -2 times -3 is a plus 6. -6 plus 6 gives us a 0 remainder. So the quotient that we get here after dividing this polynomial with x plus 2 is 1x to the power 3 minus 4x squared plus 8x minus 3, and remainder is 0. The rule that we recently learned was if the remainder is 0, then the quotient, so this is the quotient that we have got, and the divisor, because we are dividing this with this, so this is the divisor. Both are called the factors of the dividend. Therefore, if we have to determine whether this is a factor of this dividend or not, we would say yes, as the remainder obtained is 0. So we can write down x plus 2 is a factor of 13x minus 2x cubed plus x to the power 4 minus 6. That was the question given to us for which we were determining the factor.